Hey guys, welcome back to another video here at the Alpha Pack shop. Here we got a 2016 Polaris Ranger Deisel 1000 crew. And I'll give you the backstory later, but yep, this is our next build. And I have all these parts sitting out here, and before I start installing them, I wanted to get some footage for you guys and show you what we're doing. Got a lift kit here. It's going to get a 4-inch bracket lift. Already changed out all the bearings and got those all cleaned up and situated. We got a winch going in it, winch plate. We got some new bolts for all the A-arms because they were jacked up. You have no idea. And these come from Misfit Garage. And here's his info, Blake Stewart. And you can find them on eBay. And apparently it takes care of the problem with the where it rides here, because on one end it rides on the threads. So the shank for their bolts, this is one of theirs, is a lot longer with the shank, and it's supposed to take care of any, you know, movement in these A-arms, like, so it comes all the way through it instead of stopping where the threads are, which the thread's diameter is a lot smaller than this shank. But anyway, so those bolts are supposed to fix the issue with bushing play and stuff like that. We got new bushings and sleeves installed. We got some new boots for the steering rack, all new ball joints. Like I said, bushings and sleeves. Already went and put everything in, and it's time for assembly. We're gonna start putting all the parts back on it, and yeah, we got another couple parts sitting over here. Let me say, we got a windshield going on, front flip up, and then we also have in this box, or this is the flip up, that is the rear. And then I ordered a Super ATV ADR axle, and right now they're on sale, guys, for $75. If you need an ADR, you might as well go grab a couple. But look what came in the mail. This is an actual Rhino axle. So the ADR is a Rhino, apparently. So we got a new axle to go in as well. And like I said, windshields, all that. We're gonna throw some lights. This thing's gonna be decked out, guys, decked out. So when I come back, we're gonna start throwing some parts in. And while all right, here's the 4-inch bracket lift for the Ranger. Install now. And it's done, finally. It didn't take too long, but anyway, the directions aren't really clear about this, but let me just show you about the washer setup. They don't go on the heads of the bolts. They go in between the plate and the frame rail before it goes through the frame, and then there's a spacer with the other plate and then the nut after it goes through the frame. And yep, so got all that situated. It's the same in the rear. I'm gonna go ahead and snug these up a little bit, and then after the shock's in, I'll tighten everything down. I got this, here's the rear setup. So this is the 4-inch. In the front, make sure the smaller ear goes upwards, just so you know. And then here it is, better example. You can see it a little better. I've snugged these up a little bit. So I'll put the shock in and I'll snug them up a little bit more, but that's it, loose. And then there's your spacer. So, and then your plate and frame. So that's how that goes. The rear, you have to actually drill, after you remove this, you have to drill a hole to, I think, 5/16, and then bolt this up and put your Zerk fitting in this hole here that's threaded. So that's how the rear sway bar drop brackets go. And then we're gonna move on to start putting some A-arms on this sucker. And eventually, I'm gonna have to give y'all some options and tires to look at and let me know what you think. And we'll go from there. I gotta find some 30s for this sucker. All right, guys, so I started installing A-arms and whatnot with this Misfits Garage bolt kit I ordered, and I'm running into issues. I'm about to show you that right now. Once I grab this light, I'll start with the rear. So on this side of the rear, we had to use an OEM bolt here because the bolts are so long that they won't go through. Now on these, they do where the shank, they say, needs to ride on the frame. It does, but you have to use a couple washers after that on this side where the nut is. So to make it uniform and it still does what it's supposed to, I put 2 washers on each side. The hub though, the bolts were so long, I'd have had to literally use, I know on the bottoms, almost 6 washers to get it to be right. So I wasn't gonna do that. So I put OEM ones back in it. The top one was similar. I'd have had to use Buku washers just to make it look or work. So this side was the only side I could put all 4 in on the frame to A-arm. The hubs, like I said, I used the OEMs because these over here, way too long. And over here, the front, we got the front bottoms, they ride like they're supposed to, but they're still super long. And this kit came with like 50 washers, and I'm starting to see why. I think you need to space stuff off a bunch. But look here, it's hitting the back of the bolt is going to be almost riding on this steering rack on the boot, and it's probably going to end up ripping that boot. Over here, I have just a bolt sitting in here for y'all to see. The shank on the top bolt is the only one that doesn't sit where it's supposed to. If you see the threads, it sits on the threads. So I have it over here with no washer on it also, so it's in as far as it can. And yeah, sitting on the threads. I thought it was supposed to eliminate that. So yeah, I think some more. And then look, it's riding on the boot over here. So when I go to turn, it's gonna end up cutting that boot and tearing up the steering rack or something, unless I used a bunch of spacers and put it out like that, away from it, or maybe even like right by it. Then look how far that is out. How many washers would I need for that? I probably have enough in that pack. But anyway, so I'm trying to figure this out. I've tried calling them to ask them some questions about this. I haven't heard back, but we'll see what's up. For the time being, I'm probably just gonna run that sucker all the way through because it's still a good bolt. The OEM one does the same thing, and I'm going to probably mark it and just cut that bolt off at the end so I don't have all that excess over by the steering rack. But I don't know, guys. I don't know if something's up with that kit or what, or the measurements are not right when they were making this, but it's definitely not working as stated. So I don't know if I would have ordered that again or not. I needed bolts though, so it was the only option I could find online, just to get a quick kit that was already together with everything I supposedly needed, but obviously it's not. But we're gonna keep on going. I'm gonna throw this together and come back after that. Found another issue with this bolt kit from Misfits Garage. This bottom shock mount on the rear is hitting the boot, and it's hitting it a lot. So if I run that, it's going to definitely rub a hole in there at some point probably. So I went ahead and found 2 OEM ones that I got fixed up and are gonna work. So I'm throwing the OEs back in the bottoms, and then on top I'm using the ones that came with the lift kit. So I'm gonna continue putting things back together. And there it is, guys. Got all the suspension put back on this Deisel Ranger Crew. Got some rear tires thrown on it for right now. These are just the stock ones. We're gonna have to go through some options and let him know what's available, and he'll be able to pick a set of 30s that we got. So we'll see what he wants to put on here. Super aggressive or mildly aggressive, but we're putting on 30s, guys. So everything's tightened up, good to go. And I did have to use the shock mount up here. That was the one for the lift. And in the rear, the lowers, I had to use the OEMs. And the front as well, I had to do some stuff. I had to use the stock OE. I just used that here for the lower, and then the lift mount or lift bolt up here in the top. I put the long bolt into the top A-arm, and I marked it, and I went ahead and cut it so it's not touching the boot anymore, so I won't run the risk of ripping those steering rack boots. I don't know if you can see it, but it's here now instead of hitting here. So I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of dark, guys, sorry. But anyway, everything's thrown back on. I'm waiting for this alignment tool that I ordered, and once it comes in, I'm gonna throw it on the front here, and they're like these little skis. I can't wait to show y'all this thing. Not sure if y'all have seen it yet or anything, but yeah, on the next video, I'm gonna show y'all that, and we'll get this thing aligned. And then, like I said, figure out what tires we're gonna throw on here. And then we're gonna go ahead and move on to all the accessories, windshields, LED light bars, winch, you name it. You know, we're gonna deck this sucker out. And this is gonna be one of the coolest Deisel Rangers I've ever seen. But until the next video, guys, if y'all would, please hit that like and subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Y'all take it easy.